morning, friends. So today I thought I'll share my views on the Duke 250 that I have owned for about 4 months now, and it's probably a long-term review, you can term it that way, because I have ridden around 1,800 kilometers on this so far, and I would just like to state, what I like about this bike and what I found could have been a bit different. I seriously have no complaints about this, but what I've experienced over these days, I just like to put it in bullet points and make a video out of it and share my opinion with you. So initially I had a fall with the bike. It was around 1.5 months after I bought it. I fell down with the bike and the number plate was a bit damaged because it's very thin and of very low quality. Apart from that, a little bit of paint has eroded from this part, and there's a little bit of paint gone from here as well. Now the fall was not really a very smooth one, it was quite a bad fall, and considering the situation, I'd say that the bike is very nicely designed. The frames and the accessories and the guards are in such a way that unless and until you do something really serious to meet a very bad accident, the bike will not be damaged and you will not be injured that much unless you are not wearing a helmet or protective gear. So regarding the safety, I'm very happy about it. Another thing that I'd want to point out is the design of the bike, the looks. Well, to be very honest, the reason I bought the Duke 250 over the Duke 200 and a few other bikes was the design, the looks, and I'm very satisfied because whenever I'm out on the road with this bike, I get heads turning around, people coming beside me and slowing down just to check out the bike and have a look at who's riding it, and it feels really good. You spend 30,000 more than the Duke 200. I understand that's a bit of a premium, but then in the end, you really enjoy the attention that you get on the road, and you feel good about what you're riding. And the only thing that I'd say that sometimes you get unwanted attention. People just want to come beside you and they want to race. Now that's something that you need to be careful about. Don't get carried away and enjoy the ride instead of going for a race, unless you're on a track, of course. Now coming back to the review, what I found. Well, I said the looks are really good. It's quite safe unless and until you meet a very bad accident. You're not really going to damage the bike, and if you are wearing protective gear, you'll be safe as well. Now, the looks, the safety, but I'd say it all depends on you, how you ride the bike. If you are not careful, if you are trying to race on a highway or in the cities, then the bike can't do anything about it. You have to be responsible about what you do. Okay. Now a few things that I noticed over these last 4 months or 5 months, I'd say, is that since it has been raining quite a bit over the last 3 weeks in Kolkata, I've noticed that my bike was standing the whole day in the rain, and what I noticed was there was a bit of moisture that was collected in the headlight. But again, as soon as things dried up and the bike was in the sun, the moisture was gone. So even though it seems that it's a negative, it will not really impact you. It's not really impacted me so far, so I hope that's how it's going to be. The other thing that I feel is if you have ridden a Duke 200, you will see there's an initial grunt. The pickup is really good, and when you start the bike, it tends to jump forward, jump ahead, and move really fast. Now this one is a bit mellowed down. Even though it's 250 cc's compared to the Duke 200, which is a 200 cc, the initial pickup seems to be very more refined, more matured, and you will not really get that grunt. Now if you are a person who wants to make it exciting, then you have to reach somewhere around 4,500 or 5,000 RPM before you can get the grunt from this one. And then of course it performs exactly how you want it to. The engine is much more refined than the Duke 200, and of course, you know, once you cross the rev limit, the vibrations start to come in, but again it's much more refined than the Duke 200. And of course the Duke 390 is a different story. It's got the grunt, it's got the pickup, and again it's 50,000 more than this one, so I'd say it's doing a really good job. I also wanted to talk about the seats, the comfort, you know, of the rider and the pillion. Now, as you can see, and you've probably, you know, seen in one of my earlier videos, I have installed you know, seat covers on the stock seats. Now these seat covers are a bit thick, you know, and they provide me with a bit of cushioning as well. However, even if you consider the stock seats, you know, the Duke 250 has much more comfortable seats compared to the Duke 200, and the seats are wider and they are contoured, you know, both for the pillion and the rider. The rider of course will have a very nice time riding the bike, and the pillion will also, you know, feel quite comfortable. It might take a bit of you know, getting used to for a month or a couple of months. After that, you know, the seats are great and they are much better than the Duke 200 for sure. Whether you consider the cushioning or the contouring, the seats really do a good job, and I'm happy about it. The other thing that I'd like to point out is the tank, you know. It's a really good thing that KTM decided to come up with a 13.5 liter tank for the Duke 250. Now I generally take the motorcycle to office every day, but again I plan to go for long rides as well. You know, I've been to Bardhaman, I've been to outskirts of Kolkata with my friends on over the weekends. I have not really been to a very long ride as of now, just within West Bengal, and this 13.5 liter tank ensures that you don't need to get everything filled up every now and then. And I'm being very honest, I have got a mileage of 35 to 38 kilometers per liter in the city. I am not joking. And I maintain a rev of about 4,000 to 4,500. I don't unnecessarily you know, press the clutch or you know, ride on high pickup. I'm a sober, or I'd say I'm a mellowed down rider, which is why I like the engine of this bike. It's refined and it's mellowed down as well. And the other thing I'd like to say is, on the highways it's given me 45 kilometers per liter, and I'm very happy about it. Another thing that is worth mentioning is, when I fell down with the bike, I damaged the left mirror, and I got it fixed from KTM, the showroom. Now ideally a Royal Enfield's mirror, or you know, the mirrors of any other companies are somewhere around 500-400 rupees. Now I was really amazed to find out that the mirror, along with the labor charge for fitting it on the bike, cost me 250 rupees only. So I just had to pay 250 rupees and a new mirror on the left was installed, and I didn't have to pay anything else for the labor as well. It was included in the 250. That's amazing. So my final verdict, I would say that if you're looking for a city bike which you can take for a highway ride every now and then, and if you have a pillion to carry and you're not looking to race all the time, then this baby is really good. You spend 30,000 more than the Duke 200, but you get a lot of features which makes it ideal for the objectives that I've just mentioned. And the looks are stunning, the quality is really good, the mileage is good, and of course when you ride it you feel like a bird. So I'd say if you want to go for the Duke 250, consider my points, and I'd say just go for it. Don't worry about it. Once you get used to this, you would love it. And if you have a pillion to carry, he or she will love it too. take care, ride safe, and have a nice time. Bye. I just remember that I should have added a couple of things in the review that I missed out. Number one is the heating issue. Well, I've had a lot of people asking me how the bike performs in bumper to bumper traffic if it gets really heated up in the city. Well, initially you'll feel the heat if you are riding in bumper to bumper traffic and using a lot of clutch and riding at first and second gear. The bike does get heated up, but the radiator fan comes up and it does a very good job, and the bike cools down very soon. But once you're out of the traffic and you're riding, on the third gear, and you're not stopping a lot and you're not using the clutch all the time, the bike doesn't get heated, and on the highway it performs really, really well. So there's no question of heating being an issue after a while, and you get used to it a couple of weeks or maybe 1 month, and then you'll not even feel the heat on your legs, and you will get used to the radiator fan humming up whenever there's a need to cool the engine down. And another thing I wanted to share was the fact that the Duke 250 does not come with a ABS like the Duke 390 does. Now, while this is a drawback, the brakes on the Duke 250 are really good. I haven't faced any problem with braking so far. The front brakes are really, really responsive. The rear brakes are also good, when you need them. And overall the braking system is really good. I haven't been riding at like 130 or 140 where I've had to use the front brake all of a sudden, and I have not really felt the necessity of the ABS that was missing. So I would say that unless you are really, really looking for high performance and you're really, really going to ride at very high speeds, the brakes on the Duke 250 are really good and they do the job very well. So there's no need to worry. The brakes are really good and the bike is safe.